Meyer straight back. Firing the bomb up the right side for Kelvin Martin. Got it out there. Makes a great grab at the 3-yard line. Rod and Chris Ward on the left side. Cuts it back at the 5. Touchdown, Chris Ward.
Team don't. All don't.
Swing loose throw. Seahawks come with a blitz. Fires it out there. Intercepted in the end zone by Eugene Robinson. First and 10. Cleveland 23. Meyer play fake to Ward. Looking. Scrambling to his right. Meyer looking for help. Fires up the right sideline. It is caught. Touchdown by John L. Williams.
At the end of the 1992 season, the Seattle Seahawks flashed a signal to the rest of the league. In the uncharted new world of free agency, team management was going to take an aggressive approach in acquiring talent. Tom Flores and his coaching and scouting staff set their sights on the veteran players they wanted, then moved quickly to bring them to the Kingdome. The signing of Colts center Ray Donaldson added instant stability to the offensive line. And when ex-Dolphin tight end Farrell Edmonds came aboard, he brought along run-blocking skills and pass-catching flair. Joining Edmonds in the receiving corps was a former member of the world champion Cowboys, wideout Kelvin Martin. Kmart's blue light specials included the ability to make something out of nothing and the speed and moves to burn opponents deep. Martin's yards per catch average ranked among the AFC's best, and few receivers anywhere possessed a better understanding of their craft.
On that 3 route, you know what I'm saying? He broke before I broke out. I was like, my goodness. That's why I tried to shield him with my body. I came right back. I said, hey, let's go 9. Let's go 9, man.
Meyer, short drop, pump fake. Now fires the bomb up the left side, throwing to Martin out there. He's got the football at the 50. Touchdown, Seahawks.
The contributions of Donaldson, Edmonds, and Martin were proof that Seattle's free agent choices had been wise ones. The same held true with the college draft, where the Seahawks were sitting pretty, harvesting one of the most appealing rookie crops in the NFL. The defensive picks included number 95 linebacker Dean Wells and end Michael McCrary, number 75, who was fast enough to cover the pass and sack the quarterback. Another pocket buster was number 67, Antonio Edwards, who took special pleasure in tormenting the Broncos' John Elway. And no defender made a splashier NFL entrance than cornerback Carlton Gray.
Stepping up, rolling to his right now, firing the bomb up the right side, got a man out there, and it is intercepted by Carlton Gray. His 3rd interception on the season. This rookie, a sure first-round draft choice that falls to the 2nd round, and the Seahawks were happy about that. They just love this kid.
The rookie who made the biggest hit was special teams terror Michael Bates.
Into the end zone, Belgray will take it 2 yards deep and bring it out. The Seahawks knock him down. He fumbles the football. Michael Bates made the tackle, and I believe
A former Olympic medal winner in the 200-meter run, Bates is blessed with sprinter speed and a killer instinct. When Michael isn't returning kicks, he's covering them, making his targets feel as if they'd just checked into the Bates Motel. No Seahawk ever made more special teams tackles in a season, and nobody could put the opposition in the hole like Michael Bates.
one is a low spiral, bounces inside the 10, inside the 5. Michael Bates touches it, knocks it out of bounds at the 1-yard line. How he does not get voted into the Pro Bowl, I have no idea.
But the one pick that turned around the fortunes of the franchise came early in the '93 draft, when Seattle made the selection that instantly revitalized its offense.
With the second choice in the draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Rick Meyer, quarterback, Notre Dame.
You know, this is a team that's rebounding. Hopefully I get a chance to play, and when I do, hopefully I get a chance to do well, but I'm not going to put any pressure on myself that doesn't need to be on there right now. It's a tough battle. It's a lot different than college ball. You know, that wasn't easy, but this is just a whole nother level above it. But I've prepared myself physically to be strong enough to take a hit and be able to get back up.
Meyer proved to be a quick study, tripling the Seahawks' wins and doubling their point total from the year before. He became the first rookie passer in 20 years to start every game, adding each week to his legion of true believers.
Meyer is one of those guys who shows a lot of poise, a lot of field presence. He knows when to run and has a tremendous arm. He's just going to be a tremendous quarterback for the future.
Definitely, he's a fast guy. You know, he don't make the mistakes that a young guy would make at a quarterback position. So that's going to mean that he's going to be something to see in upcoming years.
In 1993, Meyer set new NFL records for attempts, completions, and yardage by a rookie quarterback. And he accomplished this even though his on-the-job training took place against some of the league's toughest teams.
A lot of people have told me just to be yourself and to be patient and let things come. Coach Kennedy was the first one to tell me that. You know, you can't try to do it all one day and be a hero. It's just going to come in time.
Rick's time arrived by mid-season, first against the Chargers. He passed for one score and ran for another to post Seattle's highest offensive output in nearly 4 years. A few weeks later, Meyer was tough in the clutch against the Patriots.
Third down and long. Here comes the blitz. Meyer scrambling to his left, trying to buy some time. Does. Looks. Meyer's back against the grain. Got a man out there. Kelvin Martin caught the football. He's got it at the 47-yard line. How in the world did he find Kelvin Martin back there?
Trailing 9-3 in the final moments, the eventual AFC Rookie of the Year marched his team downfield with the calculated poise of a 10-year veteran.
Third down and goal from the 1-yard line with 28 seconds to play. Myers short drop, flares it out. Touchdown! Brian! The more they say Rick Meyer looks like Joe Montana, the more I'm beginning to believe it.
Hopefully there'll be a lot of crunching out there today. And we won't be on the receiving end. We'll be delivering those crunches.
Once again, in 1993, defensive captain Eugene Robinson was the bearer of bad tidings to opposing ball carriers, logging more tackles than any other Seahawk, while totaling the most interceptions of anyone in the NFL. Robinson's 9 thefts and 2 fumble recoveries gave him the best turnover total in football. So it came as absolutely no surprise to anyone when Eugene was voted to the Pro Bowl for the second straight season.
O'Donnell in the shotgun, stepping up to throw, hitting pressure, Seahawks after him, and they go back at the 26-yard line. Steve, I'm going to tell you, that was as great an individual defensive effort by Eugene Robinson as I have ever seen.
Robinson paced a secondary that enjoyed relatively good health in '93, even if the opponents they covered did not. Corners Dwayne Harper and Patrick Hunter, and safeties Robert Blackman and Raphael Robinson starred as acrobatic defenders against the deep strike. But while the secondary remained intact, the rest of the defense had to compensate for key injuries.
Here we go. Here it is. 1 or 2 trick covers lock. Ready? Cover lock.
The first to step forward was Rod Stevens, number 94. Seattle's middle linebacker covered the field from sideline to sideline, called the formations, and tied an NFL record with a pair of safeties. And Rod would have broken that record if it hadn't been for his heads-up play against the Cincinnati Bengals.
A give to Green around the left side. Seahawks have got it. Could be a safety. Ball in the end zone. Seahawks have recovered for a touchdown. Holy mackerel. Rod Stevens is the guy who recovered the fumble for a Seahawks score. How about that one, baby?
Stevens was flanked by Terry Wooden, number 90, who started every game while finishing second on the team in tackles. On the other side, number 98 Kevin Murphy stepped in to plug the gap after a torn Achilles tendon prematurely ended the season for pass rushing specialist Rufus Porter. Another player lost to injury was defensive end Michael Sinclair, number 70, who averaged nearly a sack per game and finished third among AFC pass rushers in that department. With both Sinclair and Porter out of action for half the season, Seattle's defensive assistants worked overtime to compensate for their absence. The coaching staff mixed and matched the lineup with veterans and rookies in hopes of striking just the right combination. Number 99, Natu Tuatagaloa, started nearly every game at right end, bringing quickness and lateral movement to the position. Inside, second-year tackle Tyrone Rogers, number 91, displayed up-the-middle pass-rushing capabilities. And as always, the diehards, 12-year veterans Jeff Bryant and Joe Nash, continued to make big plays.
Looking, still looking. Now it breaks down. He lobs it, batted in the air, and it is intercepted by the Seahawks. At the 10, at the 5, touchdown, Joe Nash!
But once again, the Seattle defender that drew everyone's attention was Cortez Kennedy.
Man, I came scot-free, and you got there before I did.
Cortez Kennedy is a load.
His size and talent is so mammoth, so monstrous, that it only seemed logical to cast Kennedy as Tez Rex, the frightening ghoul featured in a national television commercial. But that fictitious character is only too genuine to opposing ball carriers. They see him in their dreams, wake up in a cold sweat, and then realize their worst nightmare is stalking them for real every Sunday. It hardly seems fair that a man that large can be so fast. But it's part of the reason why Kennedy was voted to the Pro Bowl for a third straight season. Perhaps an even greater sign of respect came each week when the other team routinely assigned 2 or even 3 blockers to contain him.
Everywhere I go, they got somebody. Everywhere I go, they got somebody.
The extra attention often freed up a teammate to make a big play.
Got from behind, fumbles the football, Seahawks pick it up. Eugene Robinson, touchdown, Seahawks.
Through it all, Kennedy never lost his sense of humor.
I don't know if it was a pass or what, but I know I got flipped. I couldn't even see what's going on. Yeah. I won't do that again. Don't bring that over here. I said it. You heard me. You heard me.
While the Tez gave opponents an earful, the Seahawk defense provided an eyeful of thrills during their best effort of the season, a win over the Browns.
Back to throw as Wilcox setting up. Wilcox side the ball batted away. It's fumbled. The Seahawks are after it. Touchdown, Seahawks.
That's the way to start.
It was the fastest score in Seattle history and was merely the first of a record-tying 7 turnovers.
Metcalf around the right side, cuts back to the 45. Almost a football, the Seahawks have recovered at their own 46-yard line. Wilcox drops back to his own end zone.
Got him.
Pressure. Edwards has got him. Antonio Edwards for a safety.
You ever see anything like this before? Unbelievable performance by the defense.
Hey, if you don't make the big play, who's going to do it? Let's go, man. Let's go.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, ha!
Even in early summer, the Seahawks special teams were already primed for action.
Montgomery gets the kickoff, and it comes down McLuhan at his own 25-yard line. To his left, gets one block to the 30, 35, open field, 45, 50. McLuhan's going to go the distance. Touchdown, Seahawks, Dave McLuhan.
Seattle's kicking tandem also contributed. Rick Tootin broke his own club record for punting average, and place kicker John Casey scored 98 points while booting the longest field goal in team history. Overall, Seattle's attack was far more productive than the season before. The offensive assistants went to work, putting their creative ideas in the hands of a unit whose talent level had vastly improved. Of course, one way to increase scoring was to have a healthy Brian Blades available for an entire season. Playing in every game, Blades returned to his old form as one of the NFL's best possession receivers. Bryant snared so many drive-extending catches that he was able to break Steve Largent's franchise record for most receptions in a season.
Dan dropping straight back, looking with good protection, down the middle, fires, and it's caught for a touchdown! Brian Blades! What a catch he made!
Elsewhere on offense, the line blocking may not have been as appealingly choreographed as the Seagulls' dance routines, but in their own way, the Hawks' pit crew was a unit of precision and purpose. Joining center Ray Donaldson were veteran guards Derek Brills, Bill Hitchcock, and draft day steal Jeff Blackshear. Starting every game at the tackles were Andy Heck and Ray Roberts, who made considerable strides in his sophomore season. Ray's responsibilities ranged from protecting Rick Meyer's blind side to even occasionally hauling in one of the rookie's redirected pass attempts. Fortunately, the glue-fingered Roberts got plenty of assistance from the rest of Seattle's receiving corps. Doug and Rob Thomas were integral members of the third down offense. And when the Seahawks needed more blocking beef or a big pass target, they turned to tight end Paul Green. Additional blocking and receiving help came from fullback Tracy Johnson, number 43, who capably backed up John L. Williams. Williams concluded his 8th season in Seattle with a flourish, finishing second on the team in pass receptions, while posting his best yards per rush average since 1988. Seattle's offensive captain completed an especially rare trifecta on the season's final day. With 102 yards against the Chiefs, John L. became the third different Seahawk in consecutive weeks to rush for 100 or more yards in a game.
Second down, giving on the draw to John L. to 25, 20 to the 15, 10. John L. to the 5, breaks the tackle. Touchdown, Seahawks. John L. Williams.
For the first time ever, the Seahawks led the AFC in rushing, and the point man of the ground attack was Chris Warren. In his second season as a starter, Warren earned a trip to the Pro Bowl by displaying running and receiving talents that few big backs in the NFL could ever hope to duplicate. In a win at New England, he set a new team record for carries in a game. Along with a personal best, 174 rushing yards, and the game-clinching score.
Gilbaugh gives to Warren at the 15, 10, at the 5, Chris Warren, touchdown, Seahawks!
Despite an abdominal injury that kept him out of the season's final 2 games, Chris still finished 3rd among all conference rushers by gaining 1,000 yards for the 2nd straight year.
Around the left side, gets a block, 45-40, leaps over a man, 35, inside the 30, Warren is gone, touchdown Seahawks. Chris Warren looking tough today.
In the final home game of the season, the Seahawks hosted the Steelers, who desperately needed a victory to keep their playoff hopes alive. But the Seattle defense wasn't going to let that happen.
Back to throw as O'Donnell, Seahawks come with 4. Good protection, fires left, complete to Green, 45. The big guy in midfield, fumbles the football. Seahawks recover it. Eugene Robinson. Eugene across midfield to the Pittsburgh 49.
The Steelers were held to only a pair of field goals, while the Seahawk offense controlled the game virtually from start to finish. Quarterback Rick Meyer displayed his versatility by breaking free for his longest run of the year, then entrusted ball-carrying duties to reserve tailback John Vaughn. In his first start as a Seahawk, Vaughn gained 131 yards, dashing over, around, and through the NFL's top-ranked defense against the run.
Gives to Vaughn over the left side, breaks it to his left, 20, 25, 30, 35-yard line, Vaughn, 45, 50, and out of bounds at the Pittsburgh Steelers 43-yard line. And
when it was time to pass, Rick Meyer knew just what to do.
2nd down and goal, Meyer play fake. Scrambling to his left, looks, touchdown, and Paul Green.
The '93 season is over, and the Seahawks are now pointing to 1994. Seattle's front office has stayed active in the marketplace by signing league co-interception leader Nate Odoms and All-Pro tackle Howard Ballard, both from the AFC champion Buffalo Bills. And those moves are only the beginning. With more opportunities available through trades and the draft, the Seahawks will work to stockpile the best talent available as they continue their quest to become one of the NFL's elite franchises. In 1993, Seattle made bold strides and staged a remarkable turnaround. In 1994, the Seahawks' goals will be even greater, setting the course for a winning season and getting back on track for a return to the playoffs.
On the eve of the NFL's 75th anniversary season,
here are several slices of NFL folklore that will live on forever.
In Miami's Orange Bowl, the experts predicted a Seahawk defeat at the hands of the defending AFC champion Dolphins. The fairy tale had gone on long enough. It was time for a return to reality. But Seattle knew that in all good fairy tales, miracles can happen.
We're going to challenge them. Everybody's got to give everything they got. No offsides, run like hell. We got to set the pace. Right? Here we go. Right.
If Seattle were to spring an upset, they would have to control the combat zone on the line of scrimmage. The front wall of Bailey, Bush, Essink, Pratt, and August cut down the killer bees of the Miami defense, and the disbelieving experts watched as the Seahawks took command. Touchdowns by Kurt Warner and Cullen Bryant forged a 17-13 fourth quarter lead. And with only a few minutes remaining, the Seahawks were on the verge of the year's biggest upset. But then the chimes of midnight abruptly sounded, and Cinderella's dream appeared to be over. Seattle's only mistake of the afternoon cost them the lead, and now only a precious few moments remained. Was there enough time for one more miracle?
This is the entire season now resting on this next drive. Now let's see if this interception has affected him. I don't think it will. I think Craig and the entire Seahawk offense are going to come out and move the ball down the field. Let's see what happens.
In a drive that will occupy a permanent place in Seahawk history, Dave Craig and Steve Largent combined on two remarkable plays that put Seattle in position to make their fairy tale come true.
Seahawks trail the Dolphins 20-17. Craig looks over the defense, pitches to Warner. He takes off around the right side. He's at the 5. Touchdown, Seahawks! Seahawks are going to play in the AFC Championship game next week. Hard to believe. Did you ever think you'd hear yourself say that?
On a rainy Miami afternoon, Seattle's football franchise was no longer the league's forgotten orphan. The Cinderella Seahawks were now dancing well past midnight in a glass slipper that had a perfect fit.
When you have faith in yourself, faith in your ability, what God can do for you, you can go anywhere. And it is proven here today. Nobody in the country believes that we can do it, but us. But us.
Let me tell you something. One great battling job. I tell you what. Hey, hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!
I pinch myself every year just to see if it's really real, if it's happening to me, because believe me, the type of career that I've had is a childhood dream.
Seahawks down 10-0, Cincinnati 10-yard line, best penetration, Craig back to pass, little pump fake, now looks, throws to the end zone. There it is! Touchdown Seahawks, number 100!
By shattering the NFL record for touchdown catches, Steve Largent became the most prolific receiver in the history of pro football. Yet, with only weeks until his retirement, he used that moment to give rather than receive. Pete Gross, the Seahawks radio announcer, had been battling cancer for 2 years, and following the game, Largent presented him with his jersey as a symbol of friendship and support. For all fans, that single moment defined Steve Largent as a player and as a man, marking a graceful exit from this game.
He is not only a Hall of Fame football player, he is a Hall of Fame human being, a Hall of Fame father, a Hall of Fame husband. And these, I think, are the things that are important to Steve Largent as he goes through life. People will remember him for his football here in the Seattle area, but I think even more remember him as a human being.
Honors and adulation marked Steve Largent's road to the Hall of Fame. But that trip wasn't always as effortless as his catches. In fact, his arrival to the pros in 1976 was tinged with disappointment. He'd been drafted in the 4th round by the Houston Oilers, only to be cut prior to the start of the season.
At that point in time, a lot of my self-worth, self-esteem was built upon or based upon my ability as a football player. And so to have someone say, "You're not good enough," it was really a crushing blow to me.
I was going to fix dinner, and I wanted him to come out. And Steve said, "Well, that'll be great, but I need to get home and get to bed early. I've got to catch a plane in the morning." And I said, "Oh, where are you going?" He says, "I'm going to Seattle." He said, "But I'm only going to take a few things because I may not be there long." Well, you know the rest of the story.
In retrospect, his trade to the expansion Seahawks for an 8th-round draft pick may be football's equivalent of buying Manhattan for $24. But back in the early years, Largent had to fight the preconceived notions of what it took to be a great receiver.
People said, well, he's kind of short and he's not fast enough and this and that. And I think it's that ability to want to prove people wrong and his fear of not meeting his own expectations, which are very high.
Largent met those expectations and earned all-rookie team honors by finishing 6th among NFL receivers. And together with quarterback Jim Zorn, an off-field friendship and on-field chemistry blossomed, earning instant respectability for the fledgling Seahawks.
And I think his best asset is he understands the game. And that helps me out a lot because he makes adjustments being as smart as he is. Don't take that to your head, son.
Right, Jim, you forgot to tell him about my hands.
And he's got great hands. And people don't think he's fast, but he's fast.
But while the football yardage was mounting toward record levels, at home, Steve and his wife Terry faced their greatest challenge. Their 4th child, Kramer, was born with a neuromuscular disease called spina bifida.
It was heartbreaking just to think what Kramer would have to experience in life. And then it was also real devastating to watch Steve kind of walk off to the corner of the room sobbing. That was the hardest thing for me.
Keep going. Keep going. Lift up. Stand low so you stand up.
Good.
When Kramer was born, you know, I cried tears of bitterness and disappointment. But I've told my wife already, the day that he walks, there'll be tears of joy, and I'm really looking forward to that time.
With Kramer, Largent gained a new perspective in his life. And as his son grew, so did Steve's fire on the field, toppling records with each new year.
Largent out wide to the right. Back Craig, a quick pass. There it is. And that'll do it. A new NFL record for Steve Largent. And at 7:07 here in the Great Northwest, this place will erupt.
Largent goes in motion toward the right. Craig back to pass. Blitz coming. Craig throws short. He's got a reception by Largent, who makes the catch and now becomes the all-time career receiving leader in the National Football League.
Records don't mean anything to Steve Largent. The thing that's going to mean something to Steve Largent is Steve will say to himself, I played the best I could play.
There's been a lot of high points, and I've often said that, you know, people talk about, well, Steve Largent never made it to the Super Bowl. Isn't that sad? And I really have no regrets about my career at all. It's all been terrific.
Ladies and gentlemen, the last original season, number 80, Steve Largent.
When I come out of the tunnel the last time, it's going to be an emotional time, I'm sure, and I think that I'm going to be just like a sponge, just trying to soak up the whole event and just catalog it and remember it as clearly as I possibly can for the rest of my life. Because the memories from the game are great ones. It's been like a dream to me.